Good to see you.
Sure. You good? Good evening. We'd like to adjourn the Board of Education in closed session at 6:58 technically and reconvene the Board of Education open session at 7:05. I'd like to receive the Santa Fe Middle School for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Board President Williams. Good evening, Board of Education and esteemed Cabinet and Monrovia Unified School District and community members. My name is Jeff Samaripa, Principal of Santa Fe Computer Science Magnet School. And I have three awesome Cougar scholars who are going to demonstrate excellence, honor, and Cougar pride this evening. We're going to start with sixth grader Stella Smith.
Good evening. My name is Stella Smith, and I'm a sixth grader at Santa Fe Computer Science Magnet School. So far, I've enjoyed this year because I've not only met so many good friends and great teachers, but I've learned and grown in academic experiences, especially in coding. This year, I have improved not only in athletics such as volleyball and soccer, but I have also learned in the arts, such as drama. In drama, we have learned how to practice monologues, acting, and projection, and learn how to produce our play of Alice at Wonderland. In the future, I hope to continue being friends with all my friends in good grades, and I can't wait to start the next year at Santa Fe Computer Science Magnet School. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next awesome Cougar Scholar is 7th grader Peter Gutierrez.
Hello, my name is Peter Gutierrez, and I go to Santa Fe Computer Science Magnet School. I am the programmer for the Cougar Robotics Omega team for our school. When I was in 5th grade, I was still in private school, and when I came here to my first experience with public school, it was very scary because so many people were here, and it was just a whole bunch of huge campus. But I was able to make really good friends, and also I was able to do things I wasn't able to do at my private school, like cello lessons. And what I really liked about Santa Fe Computer Science Magnet School is that they offered a great robotics program for me to really learn new things about coding and also to have fun with it as well. And I also liked my science class with Miss Monhay because she has us do a whole bunch of really nice experiments with chemical and physical change. And I definitely look forward to my next year at Santa Fe Computer Science Magnet School.
Thank you, Peter. And finally, we have 8th grader Magda Haman, who will say a few words and then lead us in the pledge.
Hello, I'm Magda Hamam, an 8th grader at Santa Fe Computer Science Magnet School. I'd really just like to express my gratitude for this district because it's helped me grow a lot. And I've also, I've applied for a high school program at MHS, and I'm really happy because I got accepted. It's the early college program, and I really can't wait to go on in it. And I'm sorry. As a Cougar Scholar, I am prepared to go on to the to leave the middle school and go on to the high school and face my future head on. Sorry. And now can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. May be seated.
As we can see by our roll call, everyone is here this evening. We're at item F4, report on the closed session. We had several dialogues which included expulsion, which we'll entertain later. Item G, the order of business. Dr. Terosian, I understand we have some pulling.
Yes, President Williams, members of the board will be pulling action items L4, 10, 11, and 12 from this agenda.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Wong,
Yes.
Board Member Rich,
Yes.
Board Member Hammonds,
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item H, recognition and communications. The Board of Education would like to congratulate the following students in participating in the elementary Math B that took place on March 14. Dr. Kaiser.
It brings me great joy tonight to bring to you many very intelligent students who proved their math prowess at our first annual third grade Math B. This was no challenge for somebody who is faint of heart. These students worked hard to get there, and then they performed like champions, every single one of them. The Math B is our first annual that was sponsored by Swan Math, who is our math publisher, and the students were enticed by wonderful trophies and very large gift cards. It was a fight to the finish. These students went through more rounds than Mr. Swan said he had seen in the recent past. And so we did have all of our elementary schools participate, and I am just joyful that all of our elementary principals are here tonight. I would like you all to come so that you can call the names of your students and hand them their certificates. And we'll start with Wild Rose. Leslie Miller from Wild Rose, Dr. Miller, was the host of this at Wild Rose, and she did a fantastic job organizing and getting us ready for this Math B. Would you like to say a few words about the Math B? And then here are your certificates.
Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. Yes, just to give you a little background about the B, the purpose of the B was to focus on third grade math facts, specifically multiplication, division. My colleagues and I shared the idea with our third grade teachers, and each class had their own competition as a first round. From there, we moved to school competition. So we went from the large population of all our third graders practicing their flashcards in preparation for their class Math B to the school site Math B. And each of us had about 15 students competing at our sites for the honor of moving on to the district Math B. And that, again, we whittled it down, I know, from 15 per school site to 3. And from there began the nail-biting competition. By round 3 and 4, I noticed parents, you all took out your calculators and were doing the math along with the kids. And everyone had a favorite in the audience. And you could hear the oohs and ahs throughout. It was very exciting, almost as exciting as MHS football. So I'd like to present our Wild Rose scholars and champions. Morgan Henry. Come on up, Morgan. Morgan kept smiling and giving a thumbs up to the audience throughout. Jaden Gukayan. Jaden, come on up. Now, Jaden is actually in his Math B shirt. Would you like to show off your shirt? And all our young scholars received the shirt. As they came down the aisle with Mr. Swan, they were all dressed for success. Corey Bradley Alford. Good job, Corey. No, you don't have to say anything. It's okay. And last, but definitely not least, coming in fourth place was Terrence Lee. And I don't see the Lee family here, but a round of applause for them because Terrence was outstanding.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Costarella, and I'm the principal at Mayflower. I want to thank the district and Swan Math for providing our students with this opportunity. It was so exciting. The first student I'm going to call up is Elin Griffin. Good job, buddy. The next student is Elia Lynn. And then Gabriel Pena participated as an alternate. Gabriel. Congratulations. And then special honors to our next student who actually took first place after 5 rounds of questioning. Yi Gao, come on up.
It's like my own personal green jacket.
Good evening. My name is Lily Jarvis, and I'm the principal of Monroe Elementary School. And I would like to recognize Sophia Gutierrez, and our alternate was Oscar Montalvo. He's not here, but we'll give him a round of applause. And in third place, Monroe took third and second place. We're very proud to recognize Julie Shin. And in second place, Cosette Menard.
Good evening. I'm the principal of Brad Oaks. My name is Janie Nichols. I'd like to recognize Haig Kaham. Haig? Is he in here? All right. We have as well Lily Homack. Lily Homiak? No? And Eric Traeger? Yes, there he is. And our alternate was Asaya Walker.
Good evening. My name is Greg Giroux. I'm the principal at Plymouth, and I couldn't be more proud of our Plymouth Dragons who competed. It's my pleasure to recognize Sophia Zerpa. Maddie Malgin. Ariel Chang. Aiden Arias.
Okay, let's give a big round of applause to all of our winners.
Next, we'll have the Board of Education. We'd like to congratulate those students who participated in the district PTA Reflections competition in various categories. Dr. Terosian?
Thank you, President Williams, members of the board. I'd like to invite our PTA Council President, Olivia Nelson, to help present these individuals who were recognized in categories of dance, literature, photography, and visual arts from each of our schools. And we had, from what I understand, some amazing entries. Ms. Nelson.
Hello, thank you for having me here tonight and celebrating our students who do so much in our schools and their amazing talent. The National PTA Reflections Art Program is a national competition, and our students are not judged only on their skill, but their interpretation of the artwork. And this year's theme was Within Reach, and we had quite a few students. We had hundreds actually at collaboratively through all the units, and it was really exciting to see the talent of our young ones. And we do want to honor a few very special students tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and call up our unit presidents who were very integral in this as well. So go ahead and come on up, guys. Katie and Karen. I don't know if anyone's out in the foyer. Do I have anyone from Brad Oaks? No? Okay. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to let Karen Schultz start. She's going to be starting with our high school and then our middle school categories.
I'm the Reflections chairperson, so. All right, we have Marissa Mendez. Oh, this is Plymouth, sorry. So let me get my right school here. There we go, okay. Oh, it is, okay. That might take a while. Okay, Brian Alvarez, is he here? From MHS, okay. Viviana Ariano from MHS. They got the memo. Meredith Dickinson from Clifton. Anais Montes from Clifton. Yay, someone's here. Okay, let's see. Haley Phillips from Monrovia High. In photography. Okay, let's see. Catherine Rehencia. Catherine, come. Yay, Catherine's here. Catherine got first place in dance. Okay. I think we've got. Okay, I think that's it for me. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Karen. And next, I'm going to turn over to Katie Holly, who's going to present for our elementary students.
Hello, my name is Katie Holly, and I am the unit president at Plymouth Elementary. So first off, we would like to recognize one of our special fifth graders, Marissa Mendez, for her visual arts submission. And we also have Ella Andrews. This is from Monroe Elementary. She's a fourth grader, and she submitted a wonderful photography piece. So thank you very much. Okay. And lastly, we have Esther Kurisu from Brad Oaks Elementary for her visual arts.
Is that all on?
That's all. Let's celebrate these kids one more time for all their talent. I just want to let you guys know real quick, there will be a display of the artwork mid-April at the Monrovia Historical Museum. There will be information going out about that very soon so that you guys can all see their artwork as well.
Next, we'd like to invite our wonderful principal, Mr. Kurt McGinnis, to the podium so he can introduce the Rio Hyundai League champion wrestlers. That's right.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, President Williams. What a wonderful night to celebrate a wonderful district. We have all these scholars and champions in our elementary and middle schools, and I'm very excited to see them coming to us in a matter of a couple of years. And we heard a wonderful introduction from one of our middle schoolers who can't wait to get started with us. Well, this evening, it's an honor and pleasure to introduce to you, the community, 3 outstanding athletes who have reached some significant milestones. They are the Rio Hondo League champions for individual weight classes for our outstanding wrestling team. So tonight, I'm going to introduce 2 of our coaches to come on up to introduce our players. So Coach Wilson, come on up, and Coach Aragon, and will you introduce to us our champion wrestlers?
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of words before I announce these awards. Just want to say thank you for everyone coming out. Coach Aragon, I know for Coach Daniel, who is the head coach, would like to be here, but he couldn't. We just want to say we had a really great season this year. We didn't get our goal of winning a league championship, but we developed 11 CIF qualifiers, 3 league champions, and actually 2 of them actually plays at CIF, which we've been running the program for 7 years, and these are our first ever CIF placers. So with that said, let's go ahead and bring up Gabriel Acevedo. Giovanni Aragon. And Gio actually took 7th place at CIF this year. And lastly, Gage Nicely. And Gage just took 8th at CIF this year. I know these boys have a bright future. 2 of them will be coming back. Gio will be leaving us. He's actually got accepted at San Francisco State University. Will he be continuing his wrestling career? Thank you, boys.
closer when they're in elementary school. Here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
The Board of Education would like to congratulate Monrovia High Schools and their ACSA Regional Oratorical Championship. Dr. Kaiser is going to articulate the names. I don't want to steal her thunder on that.
It gives me great pleasure tonight, Board President Williams and Board, to present to you Ishika Munchal, who was our charters winner of the Region 15 Oratorical Championship. While she didn't win the region, we are very proud of her. She is our Monrovia champion. She was asked to give a speech, an inspirational speech, about how leadership and education matters and how that changes people's lives. And we have asked her tonight to come to the podium and to deliver this short speech to inspire all of you and our audience.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm going to be saying my speech for the AXA competition about art and music in education, and it is an honor to be here, especially given that March is the Theater in Our Schools month, so it just makes it even more important. So, Michelle Obama said, "School arts programs are not luxuries, they are absolute necessities." Too often when schools face budget cuts, art programs are the first ones to be cut without realizing their significant impact on a child's development. But what is it about art that makes it so special, so influential, and so critical to have in a person's life? We have enough research and data to prove that arts help students develop better problem-solving skills, better commitment, time management, focus, memory, and better physical and emotional health. Many students who struggle in academics find a comfortable niche in the arts, giving them a sense of success and accomplishment. Arts helps all students regardless of their interest by activating their right brain, which also fosters creative and independent thinking. And in our increasingly technological world, art is the cure we need to counteract the stifling of a child's imagination. Art and music go above and beyond academics, helping people connect in a more meaningful way. I can personally attest to this because as I develop characters on stage, I am sure that art and music help me develop my character as a person and build lifelong friendships. Art and music provide students with the opportunity to collaborate and be motivated by each other. That teamwork teaches students communication, compromise, and how to respect the talents and ideas of others, which are soft skills absolutely necessary to succeed in today's global world. This is where teachers, administrators, and school arts programs come in. Teachers can use arts to help students connect to material they might not understand. For example, by using Hamilton to explain U.S. history and government. By this, they can improve their grades and boost their confidence and self-esteem. The school district can bring art resources for kids and help them showcase their work. And through the accomplishments that students gain through the arts, they are inspired to continue learning and motivated to pursue higher education, becoming leaders in their respective fields. By giving us a platform through the arts, our educators are teaching us how to stand up for what we believe in. Most importantly, art and music give us a voice to express ourselves and tell our story. Throughout history, art has been used to create movements, inspire change, give a voice to those whose voices are ignored, and show the diverse problems in our world. Artists use their skills not only to entertain, but also to bring up subjects that may be hard to talk about directly. In a world that is getting smaller with technology, yet more divided with hatred, competition, fear, and walls, let us educate our students to become leaders who build bridges using arts and music as weapons of mass construction. Thank you.
It is with great pride that I read to you your certificate. The Monrovia Unified School District Board of Education wishes to congratulate Ishika Munchal on representing Monrovia Unified School District in the AXA Region 15 Oratorical Championship. And I think you would all agree that she is quite a champion.
Ishika, before you leave, ladies and gentlemen, this young lady just finished a fabulous role as a lead in the production of Tarzan, and you guys were magnificent.
We'd like to entertain the board reports, starting with Mr. Wong.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. The one thing I want to address today is in the coming days, and two of the board members and some of the administration staff is going to take an exploratory trip into China to talk to different schools in the Department of Education there. Not only to find out to have a better cultural exchange. As you know, we have dual language classes in Mandarin currently, and it's a phenomenal program and a wild success at this point in time. But these opportunities are allowing us to create sister school opportunities in which we're exchanging teachers, exchanging ideas on the best ways to educate our students. And at the same time, there's opportunities. Monrovia has made a name for itself, not only in this community, but in literally worldwide. The successes we've accomplished here have driven or caused different districts and schools from around the world to come and see how we do things. So we've been invited to come and visit with these schools, and there's an opportunity for some of those students to come and complete some of their education here. And the upside to this is, from a cultural standpoint, I think it's a phenomenal thing for our students to interact with kids from around the world. I think we would all agree the world is getting a little bit smaller. And the better we understand how different people think and act, I think the better off we are permanently. So the sooner we can expose children to other ways of thinking, other ways of doing things, other methods, other cultures, I think that they're going to be more successful, and therefore this district will be more successful. The upside to this is when students come from outside of the area to come to school here, there's a financial benefit to us as well. That's clearly not the primary driver of why we're doing this, but I want to make sure that people understand that when we host students, that is a financial benefit to this district, not a cost. So that is not something the citizens of Monrovia, California, or any part of the United States pay for. They foot the bill 100% themselves. So when we see these guests coming here and learning, know in your heart that, one, it's going to be better for all of our children to have this type of exposure, and that in the big picture, we want people to have the image of what Monrovia is. We want people to take this image back to where their homes are, to be able to describe to them what our schools are like, what our cities are like. So all in all, this is a tremendous opportunity, not only for this district, but our students. And honestly, this is the type of thing that breaks down walls. So hopefully we'll be able to do this on a somewhat regular, I don't want to say a regular basis, but when we have opportunities to attend these type of programs, I think we're all winners.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Anyone else? I'd like to make a personal challenge on behalf of my friend sitting to my left. I'm sure you've already heard Mr. Hammond's efforts with regards to iRideForYou.com. Mr. Hammond is going to be riding a bicycle from San Diego all the way to Florida. And yes. And a lot of the contributions are going back to our schools. I made
All of them.
Excuse me?
All of them.
All of the contribution. Thank you for that clarity. You can see it on the, a lot of us can't even look across the map without getting tired. You imagine Mr. Hammond riding his bicycle. And I'm going to ask him to step out of his box and to say something with regards to the logistics, the geographics involved, including the 1,700-mile hike that he's going to be doing. It could be further, but I've challenged my friends on the diocese to donate $45. And that's $5 per school. I'm doing it, and my friends are doing it. But this is serious stuff, and I'm impressed with Rob's audacity to do this. And so, Mr. Hammond, I know you're not. This is not your lane. But I'm just going to ask you to do this one time to articulate your route for us, please, sir.
Well, thank you, Terrence. This started as a quest to see if something could be done, and then once I decided that it could be done, was who could be the beneficiary. And I don't think there's any organization that works harder for our schools than our PTAs. It's an all-volunteer program, and every cent that they collect goes back in to make our students have a more successful career in school. Olivia Nelson's here tonight. She has been helping me out. She is the one who designed the website. This is a little over 3,000 miles on a bicycle. Every cent that will be raised, you can give as little as $1. That's fine. You can give as much as you like, and that's better. But
or 45.
Every dollar goes towards the PTA and educational opportunities here in Monrovia. I'd ask you all to put iRide4You on your computer. Follow along. You can like it on Facebook. And each and every day, you'll get a new reason why choosing to put your children in Monrovia schools is a good idea. We're going to highlight everything on every day that it takes me to cross the United States. Thanks, guys.
Mr. Hammond is leaving April 1st. Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. I really am.
No,
April
yes.
1st.
So most of you will be Eastering. He'll be riding. Student report, please. Thank you.
Monrovia Elementary Olympics, also known as our MEOs, will be run by our very own high school students on March 29th at 8 a.m. Spring break starts on March 30th through April 8th. Our ACTs are on April 14th. A Renaissance Hall Assembly called People's Choice is at 6 p.m. in the auditorium on April 19th. SBAC testing will begin on April 16th through April 20th. Our Casey's Pledge, which promotes no drinking and driving, starts April 16th through April 20th. And our prom is on April 21st. It is in Thousand Oaks at the Sherwood Country Club, starting at 7 p.m. through 11 p.m. And Dollars for Davian starts April 23rd through April 27th.
Thousand Oaks, huh?
That's a nice place.
Wow. Get a free round of golf?
Yeah. Hey, is Sam ready for this? Dr. Terosian, a report from the superintendent, please.
Well, I am excited to announce that the Suit Bots from Monrovia High School have been invited to participate in the First Tech Challenge, the World Championships in Houston, Texas. This is after competing in Spokane, Washington, and earning a spot to go to the Worlds. They have a GoFundMe page, and I wanted to make sure to identify that. We also have the California School Boards Association each year has its annual educational conference where the board attends, as well as cabinet members, to glean great ideas from surrounding districts. And this year we'll be submitting 2 proposals, one about our early college program in order to present, and another about our extended learning program through the Village program. So we're excited about doing that. And I wanted to take a moment to introduce somebody who will be coming along in the agenda under consent. We have the opportunity in consent to approve a man who comes to us very, very highly regarded and qualified to lead our football program. And I'd like Kirk McGinnis to tell us a little bit more about Christian Williams, whose principal just raved about him, by the way, in our throughout the interview process, and he is so well regarded in a district which will no longer be named for anybody. You're only a Monrovia Wildcat from now on, Mr. Williams. Coach.
Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity tonight to introduce to you someone who will help shepherd our young men on the athletic field to continued scholars and champion opportunities to earn to be recognized as scholars and champions. When we looked for a football coach to fill our vacancy, we looked far and wide to try to find a leader, a coach, a mentor to lead our players, leading with the heart and mind to begin with, primarily, to capture their hearts and engage them in the competition and growing as a human being, as well as learning the skill set required to be successful on the football field. And we found that in this young man. And I'd like to introduce the community to Mr. Chris Williams. Come on up, Chris. So Coach Williams comes to us with a background as a offensive coordinator, and who ran a high octane offense with lots of scoring and lots of excitement on the field. And so when one of our elementary principals acknowledged the fact that the third grade spelling bee was almost as exciting as the football field on Friday nights, we were kind of hitting knuckles back there in the back in the anticipation of the opportunities to see our current Wildcats and our future Wildcats be successful. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Coach Williams.
Thank you. Thank you. Board President Williams, members of the board, Dr. Teresian, cabinet, and members of the Monrovia community. I just want to start off by saying it's an honor and a privilege to be named the head football coach of Monrovia High School. I would like to first off ensure the members of the board and the community and the administration that the Monrovia High School football program will definitely and always honor the values and the traditions of Monrovia High School and the teams before it. We will honor our school, our families, our community by our actions on and off the field, and we will strive for excellence in championship play in our effort at all times. It is an honor and a privilege to be named the head football coach here at Monrovia. I look forward to seeing everybody out at the games on Friday nights. It's going to be exciting. We're going to work with our kids every single day. We're going to push them in the classroom, on the field. My goal is to have a 100% graduation rate. I feel college is always going to be the main focus. We're going to push our kids at all levels to reach for that next level. Being a student athlete, being someone who's gone through the process, it's a great opportunity for a lot of our young men to grow, learn valuable lessons that they're going to learn on the football field, and then be able to succeed in the football field once they're off. I look forward to meeting more of the young men. I've met a few already. It's just going to be a great honor, and I thank you for it. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Scholars and champions, Coach. That is our motto. Congratulations and good luck, and you got our full support. See you Friday night. We're at the part of our agenda where it requires public comments. Of course, the Board of Education encourages public participation, and we invite you to share your views on the school business. I'm sure you've already completed a form. If you have not, please bring forth now to Ms. Huff. Ms. Huff, do we have public comments for items not on the agenda?
Yes, President Williams. The first request to speak comes from Dave Hart.
Good evening, Mr. President, Board, Superintendent, honored dais here, and of course Monrovia. A couple of things before I get to what I really wanted to do. I want to recognize that we have a gentleman here who just celebrated his 22nd wedding anniversary, Mr. Phil Lujan, and Karen, 22 years. Also, coming off of Mr. Williams's challenge, and you guys don't have to feel anything, put me down for 100.
Oh,
Got
thanks.
$100. PTA is, without a doubt, the life, soul, blood of what we do. And our kids would do nothing, would have very few things to do if it weren't for PTA.
Stop right there, Coach. Anyone would like to match that?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. I think there's 4 other guys on
Give Ms. Huff your name before you leave, please.
I'll be here. Dave Hart, 148 West Wardy Road. Okay. The reason I'm here tonight, besides those two, is as you heard, it's Theater in Schools Month this month. Next month is Music in Schools Month. Don't check it. I'm making that up. But we are going to be hosting our spring concert at Santa Fe Computer Science and Performing Arts School down at Santa Fe, and we would like to invite you all to attend. It's going to be on the, April 26th. That's a Thursday. I don't think that's right, but April 26th is what I was given. I think it's a Monday. I'll double check that. But it is Thursday? All right. Thursday, April 26th at 5:30, because you're going to come and enjoy a little spaghetti dinner beforehand. And then as Mr. Hammond, Mr. Williams, and Dr. Trozian can attest, they came to a fantastic Christmas presentation, and you'll be just as thrilled to see this one. So please make that a point on your calendar and come down and visit us. Thank you.
Ms. Huff, we have any other comments or items not on the agenda?
Yes, President Williams. The next request to speak comes from Julia Guevara.
Good afternoon, good evening. I'm a little bit nervous, my first time doing this. I am the representative of Options Surround Care at Plymouth. Our concern from our families are that Options is gonna be closed June 6th, so we're asking for Options to keep open, so for our families don't lose their jobs and school. I've been living in Monrovia for the past 12 years. My kids attended Options at Plymouth. My youngest one still goes there. Option has helped us a lot through in our families. Options also helps our children do great things. They're learning math, their ratings, character counting, the STEP program, music, movements, science, technology, engineering, art, critical thinking, and they're also learning about bullying. Our children are grown so much through options. The teachers are great, and we want options to keep open until the end. So if you guys can okay and sign the contract for options to keep open until the end. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else, Ms. Huff?
Yes, President Williams. The next request to speak comes from Brooke Dodd.
Hi, my name is Brooke Dodd. I am a parent at Brad Oaks Elementary. I'm here tonight to speak to the way that the LCAP money is spent. And I would like to voice my opinion that I would like the money to be spent on counselors on the elementary level. I don't know why the district hasn't seen the need for permanent counselors on the elementary level. They seem to think that they're important on the middle school level and the high school level. But as for now, they're on grant positions, and that grant money will soon run out. When a child is habitually absent on an elementary school level, it's most likely not the child's fault. It's the parents' fault. And teachers with overcrowded classrooms don't have time to go hunt down those parents and figure out why that child is not getting to school. And a counselor could facilitate that family and getting those kids to school and eliminating that problem before they get to middle school, before it becomes a truancy problem, before it becomes a suspension problem, before we're spending other money that could be spent in the classroom, avoiding negative behaviors in middle school. So why don't we save some money, get the money for that child to be in school every day, and use some of that LCAP money on counselors. We use LCAP money on coaches, so why can't we take some of that LCAP money and use them for counselors? Secondly, I would like to voice my opinion for smaller classrooms. I don't think that raising the classroom size is going to do any child in our district any good. My children don't have special needs, but there are a lot of children in my kids' classrooms who do have special needs, such as ADD. And unfortunately, my kids are the good kids, so they sit quietly in their seats and get ignored while the problem children get help and the attention that they need. And you add 6 or 7 more students to the mix, and they're going to get even less help. So I'm here to advocate for my own children who aren't the problems, but who are going to get overlooked if you add 6 or 7 more kids to the mix in an already overcrowded situation. I know that raises are on the table, and I'm not talking about raises for the teachers. I'm talking about raises for the people who work in this building, which I think is absolutely insane that y'all would give yourself raises before you give teachers. How about we give that money and hire a few more teachers and spread that wealth around rather than raise those classroom sizes. Perhaps if we spent that money on teachers, we could facilitate our students and help our kids get the education that they deserve.
Thank you for your comments. Be mindful that your comments are being received and will be addressed. Ms. Huff, do we have anyone else?
Yes, President Williams. The next request to speak comes from Amber Mitchell.
Good evening. My name is Amber Mitchell. I was here at the LCAP meeting last month where Mr. Hammond informed us that that wasn't the proper forum for some of our comments, so I wanted to make sure that I came to the board meeting tonight. I have 3 children in the district, 2 at Brad Oaks, a 5th grader and a 3rd grader, and I have an 8th grader at Clifton Middle School. In addition to that, I am a product of Monrovia School District. Miss Battle was one of my teachers, class of 95. So, and beyond that, all of my sisters are graduates from Monrovia High School. My father's an educator and was a teacher in LA Unified School District for 31 years. My sister's a teacher. My brother-in-law's a football coach. I've got a lot of history in education, being that my family is educators, but I've also taught in a classroom and been a substitute teacher. I wanted to address a couple of things today about the LCAP money and some confusion that I have. And I need some direct answers, and I know that this is not the forum for you to directly answer my questions, but if you could advise me at the end of how I could get answers to these questions, I'd appreciate it. First of all, I understand that the LCAP money is to bridge the achievement gap in our district, targeting our homeless youth, our foster youth, and our English language learners. All 3 of those groups, I believe, would directly benefit from full-time counselors at the elementary school level. My children have a parent who is in the military and was actively deployed for a year. And the elementary school counselors at our last school were the first line of defense that I went to when my kids were having trouble, whether it was grades, attention, just emotional distractions, whatever it was. Those counselors were the first people who contacted me and reached out to me. They are so important in schools. And I believe that having full-time counselors on every elementary campus is vital. One of the comments that Mr. Hammond made at the meeting last week was that the LCAP money cannot be used to fund personnel. But when I looked up the budget, which I went home and did right after we spoke, the very first line item in the LCAP budget from last year was $777,000 for instructional coaches. And I'm not sure how that can be justified, considering that those are personnel positions and counselors cannot. So that's my first question to all of you, and the ones that I would like a direct answer to. Secondly, the LCAP goal number 3 is student engagement, and under that it says access to universal academic, personal/social counseling services. That to me would directly link to having counselors on campus. So that's my next question of why doesn't that justify having counselors at the elementary level? In addition to that, all of these children that fall in these disenfranchised group, I think would directly benefit from smaller class sizes. Our class sizes are too large now. Increasing the class size would be detrimental to our students, especially at the elementary level. Speaking to Ms. Dodd's point, I have ADD children. I know that they take more work. Putting them in a classroom with 35 kids is insane. That's just not a good idea. It isn't good for the students. It's really hard on the teachers. And I am active in my kids' classrooms. I talk to their teachers every day and find out what they need and try and stay on top of my kids. But it is just too hard to have 35 4th and 5th graders in a classroom. It's insane. I'd also like to make a request directly here to the board about our board meetings. There is not very good publicity about when y'all meet. And I'd also like to talk directly to the Thought Exchange program, which at the LCAP meeting last week was said that was a place where we could provide input on where the budget money was being spent. When I went back and looked at that email for the Thought Exchange program, nowhere in that email that I received did it ever say, this is where you give your input of how we spend our money. It basically said, provide ideas to the board of what you think should be done, which in my mind seemed like more intramural sports at the middle school level. Like it didn't seem like, please tell us where to spend our money. It wasn't direct, it wasn't clear. And I just don't think that that was a very good avenue to get feedback from the public. So I would like to ask you to reopen the thought exchange with a more clear and direct to say, tell us where you want us to spend our money. In addition to that, I am on the Facebook site for the Board of Education. There is never an announcement for the board meetings. There's never a reminder that there is a board meeting tonight. I also get weekly phone blasts from Clifton and from Brad Oaks, and there is never a reminder for the board meeting. If there were reminders, I would be here. And like you said at the LCAP meeting last week, you are our representatives. You need to hear from us. This needs to become more public. My last comment tonight is about the award ceremony at the beginning of this meeting. You all spent 45 minutes handing out awards, which was lovely. All of these students got to be recognized. But instead of doing that at a board meeting, why couldn't you do a quarterly award ceremony where you hand out the students awards and you don't do it on a night where there's business? In your agenda, it says you're limiting us to 30 minutes for public comment. This is our forum to get up and speak to you. And we are limited because we had a 45-minute award ceremony at the beginning. That's goofy. And also the fact that you're getting up and down for photo shoots, if you did it at an award ceremony, it would take less time. This is the mind of a teacher, because I'm sitting here looking at you going, this is wasted time. So please let me know how my questions can be directed to you. And if I need to send it in an email format, I will be glad to do that. Thank you.
Ms. Huff, do you have anyone else on the public comments, please?
Yes, President Williams. Cindy O'Reilly.
By the way, that's a Brown Act violation if you limit us to 30 minutes.
Excuse me. You've had your opportunity to speak and we received you. But I received you telling me, but we want to be appropriate moving forward. The next person to speak, please.
Cindy O'Reilly is not here this evening, but she sent me a statement that she asked me to read on her behalf.
Thank you.
Dear Monrovia Unified Board members, I'm sorry I could not be here in person tonight, but I have a work appointment and I cannot miss, so my fellow concerned parent representative will speak on my behalf. Thank you all so much for serving as our board members. Your work on this board is important to all of us. Regarding the potential cut for counselors and hours and proposed increased class sizes, my son attends Brad Oaks. I feel that we have an A team in place there, and I often repeat this comment to others. I am certain my comments are responsible for at least 2 to 3 families seriously considering transferring back to Monrovia Unified School District. Please don't make these cuts. It's working now. There is so much good going on which you may not be aware of, and class size and full-time counselor presence is paramount to this formula for success. In fact, reviewing and adding more counselors and making class sizes smaller would be something as a taxpayer I would support. I am a single working mom with Parkinson's disease. I need these people to help me raise my son to get through life's curveballs. We all need them to help my son be a positive member of society. We are doing our best here to figure things out the best that we can, but we cannot be successful without the support I've been experiencing at Brad Oaks. After transferring into Brad Oaks from a private school in September 2017, my son has gone from almost daily anxiety, anger, and disciplinary issues with his regular office visits only now occasional issues. Since the school year started, his teacher, principal, counselor, and I have seen significant milestones in behavior and academics at the 30, 60, and 90-day benchmarks and more. This has not been accomplished by accident. Ms. Nichols, Ms. Damav, Mr. Rabicki, and the school psychologist immediately put a plan into place at the beginning of the year at the first signs of trouble and have held my son accountable to his part of the plan and contract. This team works tirelessly and after hours to send me reports, updates, and check with my son when he slips backwards. And they are examples of positive role modeling. This school has sponsored meaningful after-school activities such as parenting seminars led by Mr. Rabicki, science fairs attended and supported by Ms. Nichols, and more. My son was one of the first graders who attended the first annual science fair, and I can guarantee the staff support and positive recognition he felt from that event has made a huge impact on his confidence and accountability in this community. I've even heard other parents boast of Mr. Rabicki's involvement with some of the less fortunate children who don't have father figures. Studies show that positive male role modeling and father figures significantly increase a child's self-esteem, self-worth, and decrease anxiety, aggression, and promotes a more kind and safe environment for all. With divorce rates in single-parent households at 50% and climbing, whether a male counselor or a female counselor, we need at minimum a full-time counselor in every school. Ms. DeMauve has had an appropriate class size of 22, and this is part of the reason she has been able to handle my son's needs. She puts in extra time after hours to update me on his progress. The woman is phenomenal. Do not add more to her plate by adding more kids. No way. It won't work. And if it happens, kids like my son will fall through the cracks and issues will worsen and trouble is sure to be ahead. In the wake of all the unfortunate violence that has been taking place in our country, I am sure it is not the first time you are hearing that attention to mental health is critical now, more than ever, for our troubled youth. It makes no sense to me to even begin to consider cutting or reducing the hours of a school counselor. This must be an oversight or a mistake. You are all intelligent people. I am sure there are other areas that can be cut rather than cutting a counselor's position and increasing classroom sizes. Please reconsider these decisions. Let's cut back perhaps on the money spent on watering the grass at our schools and use drought-tolerant landscaping instead, or brainstorm to come up with cutting some non-critical expenses. But please do not cut the important stuff. Thank you.
Thank you for articulating that letter on her behalf. Do we have anyone else? Ms. Huff?
Yes, President Williams, I'd like to invite Hillary and Martin Alon.
Good evening. My name is Susana Aguirre. She's Hillary.
Hi, I'm Hillary Alon, and we're here to speak also for my husband, Martin Alon, who's not able to make it today as he's out of town.
We are parents from Braddock's, and we have volunteered, especially me. We have been volunteer. We have been at school. We have seen so many changes. My oldest kid right now, he's a 4th grader. He's been a victim of bullying, and I had a great support when I came to the principal and the counselor. He's been having changes like SAP. Like, it didn't take forever, and I see his self-esteem is increasing and he's feeling better with himself. Also, I have seen the struggle of the teachers when they have bigger class. My oldest son, he's a 4th grader. He has 33 students or 34 students on his class. And he tells me that the teacher cannot pay attention to all of them because some kids are making noise and all get grounded, all take a recess because the teacher has to try her best. And Ms. Rubio is an amazing teacher. She's being supported for everything, but the quantity of students in class is a nightmare. And I see it as a parent. I can imagine the work that they have to put at school after hours and sometimes even the weekends. I have seen that. We as a parents, we came and I tell them like whatever you need, like, but they always in the run because they need to try to support all the students at the same time. So our request is for counselors and for the teachers to have small size classes. And one of the things that she brought up, or parent that speak before she brought up, is the mental health for our students. And in this country, we need to be aware that this is one of the biggest issues right now. Not the shootings, not the ending. The ending is the shootings and at schools. The mental health is important. When we have counselors out schools all the time, we are aware that the kids are gonna be taking care of it. The counselor is always walking around the school. If he sees a kid alone, he will sit down and talk to him or her, and they will try to play, and he will try to engage the students together. Is doing an amazing job, and the kids are changing. And as a Latino parent, I know many parents, they will have kids that they won't send to school because they couldn't get to the bus on time, and they don't have a right to go to school, and they don't have the ability to have someone and say, hey, I'm late to the bus, please come and pick my son, please, please, please. They don't have that. because there are parents that are not have all the accessibility. Right now, thanks God, we have in Monrovia the new program that is left and go line, but many parents, as Latino parents, that they don't speak English, they don't know about it. I'm being promoting that app because I tell them, like, you never know when you're gonna need it. It's amazing that we have now, but there are parents that are afraid to use it. And one other of the things is increasing the work and the students and the schools. You guys are not seeing the overwork that you are putting on our office manager. She's amazing. She does above and beyond. She's not only at the office to work for what it needs to be done. She has been a nurse, sometimes babysitter because the kids didn't meet the bus. She has been, you name it, every single position in that school, she has taken care of it. She goes above and beyond, and she has a lot of overwork, and she has no help. She has another assistant that goes, works 3 hours a week, and she goes more than that because she knows that we need help. And
Hi, I just would like to say thank you for all that you guys do. We do appreciate it. I just want to second for my husband and myself that please do not increase the class sizes. It is disastrous. Our children are the one that suffer. You guys might not see it, but we see it. Also, counselors, it goes hand in hand with increasing size of the classroom. We need full-time counselors. We need more than one in each school, I believe. I mean, there's a lot of kids that need help, and our teachers are amazing, but they can't do it all by themselves. And my last thing, and it might not be my business, but I think that the teachers deserve a huge raise.
yes,
I think they do amazing. So maybe take some money from coaches or raises or whatever, wherever you can find, and I know there's money here, and kick some back over to the teachers because they really, truly deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Huff, we have any more public comments for items not on the agenda? Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry.
One more thing. I mean, you may guys not notice now, but since we have the consulates at school, you're gonna see the absence at school. They're gonna drop. They're gonna go really low. Just a point of view, and you will see it. Not this year, but maybe next year you will notice because the consulates are working with every single student. Thank you.
Thank you. Please forgive me for cutting you off. Anyone else, Ms. Huff?
Yes, President Williams, the last request to speak comes from Celine Lockerbie.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. I guess I will be continuing a theme tonight. My name is Celine Lockerbie, and I'm the parent of 2 fourth grade students at Monroe Elementary in the dual immersion program. Dr. Thorosian and Dr. Kaiser, I appreciate you meeting with me and 2 other parents last night to listen to our concerns about class sizes at Monroe. There were many things that I learned from our meeting. I am not an educator, so there are still things that I don't know or understand, but I am a very involved parent. And there are things that I do know about my children's educational needs and performance. This program was thrilling from kindergarten through 3rd grade. My children were becoming bilingual despite the incredible struggles through the new SWAN math curriculum and the paradigm shift of learning in 3rd grade. But then we got to 4th grade. We thought we were through the worst of it as teachers were becoming more familiar and more comfortable with the program. But then we were faced with a brand new language arts program. Test scores again plummeted. Report cards went from 3s and 4s last year to 2s and 3s this year. Homework, again, is a nightmare. And my children have spent the entire year thus far in tears, angry, anxious, and pounding their heads with their fists, calling themselves stupid. We understand that we have to comply with the California state curriculum, and we understand that new materials have to be implemented. We understand that new implementations are difficult for the teachers. But when we have a new, extremely rigorous curriculum, when we are teaching this rigorous curriculum in a foreign language, and we have class sizes of 30 or 33 or 35 students, then the program breaks. Breaks. This program is broken for my children. Dr. Jackson, I love your email signature quote that says, "Knowledge is power, but enthusiasm pulls the switch." I love it, and it's true. We have so much knowledge that we are cramming into our children, but there is zero enthusiasm. Because there are too many children in our 4th and 5th grade dual language classes, it takes the teachers a long time to grade all of their tests. Students don't get their tests back sometimes for weeks. The teachers are incapable of grading tests over a weekend, so aren't able to come in on Monday and say, "I noticed all of you missed number 7. Let's spend some time today and go over this until you all understand it." Because there are too many children in our 4th and 5th grade dual language classes, the teachers aren't able to give adequate time making sure all of their students understand what is being taught that day. That results in children not understanding their homework and the entire family being stressed and frustrated from the time school lets out until they go to bed. Because there are too many children in our 4th and 5th grade dual language classes, test scores have drastically declined. Because test scores have declined, my children's social and emotional well-being is in peril. In the beginning of this year, one of my children came to me with her poor test results. She said, "Mommy, I feel stupid." "I feel like I'm not going to do well in school, so I'm not going to get a good job, and I'm going to end up living on the street like a bum." She's 9. The only way we can successfully work within the rigorous expectations of the Common Core, improve test scores beyond 70 or 79% at or above proficiency, because that's still a C. And I know we can bring more students to proficiency. Cultivate socially and emotionally well students, and prevent attrition in this school's dual immersion program is to add more teachers to facilitate smaller class sizes at the upper grades. I understand this will take a financial investment, but the district must make that investment to ensure the continued success of this program. We need another dual campus in this district. I understand and appreciate this will take some time, and I don't see any reason why this school board couldn't accomplish that for the 2019-2020 school year. But for those of us with 3rd and 4th graders, we need a solution immediately. I propose that for the 2018-2019 school year, you move the TK classes off of Monroe's campus. That gives us 2 classrooms and temporarily relieves the need for portables. If you hire 1 more 4th grade teacher, that will give us 2 4th and 2 5th grade dual teachers with class sizes of about 25. That eliminates the combo class, which I believe to be less effective, and will hopefully prevent a mass exodus of students from this program. In addition to having access to financial resources, this board has a wealth of resources in the parent body who are well-informed, involved educators, lawyers, grant writers, fundraisers, and loudmouth cheerleaders. We need you to draw on all of that. We need you to pull the switch now. Finally, Mr. Hammond, at the March 19th LCAT meeting, addressing a crowd of parents frustrated over class sizes, you told us to come to the board meeting and fill out a card and speak, and that you would listen. You said, if we speak and you don't do anything, to call you out. I filled out my card, and I have spoken. And tonight I am officially also speaking for Chris Miranda, Tricia Hobbs, Emily Milan, Deepa Fernandez, Tom Andrews, Tiffany Westra, Jamie Covey, Jennifer Romero, Kim Chrissy, and anyone else that can hear me that would like to come and stand with me at the podium now. Thank you for your time this night.
Thank you for your comments. Ms. South, do we have any more public comments not on the agenda?
Yes, President Williams. Manal Sensao, is that how you pronounce it? Censor.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your time. I'm a parent. My child is in first grade, and she goes to Brad Oaks. I have nothing but great things to say about the teachers in Brad Oaks. They're amazing. They're hardworking, dedicated, and they love their kids. And then my kid loved her kindergarten teacher, and she just adores and loves her first grade teacher. And that tells you a lot about the teacher, more than the kids, you know, how good they are with the kids. But that's just not enough, that they're hardworking, they're dedicated. They need resources. They need your help to give them the resources for them to succeed and for the kids to succeed. And I'm going to speak again. You know, I know that a bunch of people discussed class size. I'm going to discuss it again because it's so important to the success of all the kids, which I know that's your goal, is for them to succeed. My child has 24 kids in a class, which is amazing. The teacher is able to allocate enough time with each child because not each child is at the same level in development. And then when you allow the teacher to spend time, when you have a small classroom, she will understand the weaknesses and the strengths of each child, so she can provide the proper curriculum for each child, because it's not one size fits all. And I don't understand how you think that increasing the size of the class is a good idea. I don't see how, in any way, shape, or form, you're supporting the teachers and the students of the district when you consider on the agenda, if that's the case, to increase the size of the classroom. I personally can't comprehend it. And I know your intent is for the teachers and the schools and the students to succeed. But that's the opposite of what you're doing if you increase the class size. Totally the opposite. I see elementary school as the foundation for each child. If you don't have a proper foundation in the beginning, then they're going to have problems down the road in middle school and high school. Your resources should be invested in in elementary schools. That's when kids need it the most. Before they get to middle school, before they get to high school, it might be too late then for intervention. So just please understand, this is where you need to put the resources. There's another issue was not discussed by anyone, which is technology. This is the age of technology, as we all know. My daughter did not have a Chromebook in kindergarten. She does not have a Chromebook in first grade, and it's my understanding that she won't have one in second grade. That's a problem. We want our kids to be tech savvy. We want them to succeed. Technology is everywhere. Technology is everything. And they have to start young, at a young age. So I think this is something you should consider. And then my last issue is only restricted to Brad Oaks, which is safety. Brad Oaks is the only open campus in the district. Anybody can come in, anybody can leave. No one's going to notice anything. It's very hard to control when you have an open campus. I'm not concerned about an active shooter. I attended a safety meeting last night at the school, and most of the discussion was devoted to an active shooter because that's all we hear on the news now. But that's not my concern. My concern is my child going from her classroom to the bathroom by herself, and some sick guy who lives in the area does something wrong. The chances of her getting hurt, or any child, is much more likely than an active shooter on the campus. I went to Megan's law database before I came today, and there are several sexual predators that live very close to the school. There's one on Lime, there's one on Mountain, Walnut, California. They're all around the school. And I urge you to consider hiring security guards at Brad Oaks. Maybe one or two who will be there throughout the time from the beginning to end of the school. Because once the kids are in the classrooms and then one kid or two, they leave to the bathroom or to the office for whatever reason, there's no one around to supervise them. Because I've been to the campus more than once during the day when everyone was in class. There's no one around. Anybody can do anything bad to anybody, especially in the bathroom. So please consider that on your agenda. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Ms. Huff, no additional?
No.
Do we have public comments from items on the open session agenda?
There are none.
You know, before we move forward, I've received a lot of comments from parents, just like me. I am a parent who happens to be the president of the board. Your comments are received sincerely. Obviously, because of the forum, we can't respond directly, but I assure you that everything you've said and articulated, we're going to come back to you regarding that. It's not much we can say at this particular point, but I just want to assure you that we all are receiving you. We're not ignoring you. There were statements that I can't concur or disagree with for obvious reasons that I just articulated. There were comments that I received that are not true. But again, this is not the forum to respond to that, but I assure you that you will be responded to. Most of us here were parents. I'm the last one as far as my son, who is a special need senior at Monrovia High School. So this position that we receive or that we take upon is very serious to us. I'm just speaking for myself, and I'm sure my fellow board members will concur. We give a hoot. We really do. So as you articulated your comments, your dissatisfactions, your statements that are obviously constructive for us, understand that we are receiving you and allow us to respond in that manner. Thank you.
I might say for the specific questions that are out here, they can contact.
Go for it.
He's passed it over to me to say this, but I know there were some specific questions people had asked, and how do we get answers to that? So please contact the district office. Superintendent Therosian will make sure you get the answers. Make sure they have your contact information, and probably the most efficient way to do that, send those questions in a letter, and
Please.
you'll get the answer.
Please, because I concur with Mr. Gilliland. You know, I'm just going to speak from experience as a parent who happens to be a board president. A lot of emotions are involved with your children. A lot of perceptions are assumed with your children. I get that. But it would behoove me not to appeal to you to follow the instructions of Mr. Gilliland with regards to communicating in a follow-up with Ms. Hupp with your comments so we can respond to you, so we can have that time to respond to you, because it's all constructive, you know, and please don't walk away thinking the board doesn't care. That is a total misunderstanding. We're here in this capacity because we do care, sincerely. So thank you for what you've said. It was constructively received. I've got notes, and so does the superintendent. And you will be responded to. Mr. Hammond?
I just want to make one comment. I don't know what it is through your eyes you see when you look at us. I have no idea. But we're your neighbors. We're not some outside folk.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to run into you guys at the grocery store. We're going to run into you on Myrtle Avenue on a Friday night. We're your neighbors. We really want the same things you want too. So this isn't a battle at the podium against unknown forces. This is just folks who live in the same town as you do, happen to have an elected position here to look after the affairs of the school board, okay? So when you articulate what it is that you want to see done, you're basically telling your neighbor, I'd like to see my schools look like this. Mm-hmm. And if you approach it like that and don't look at people, I don't look at people at the podium as the enemy. Mm-hmm. I don't look at the people who went to a meeting the other night who were very upset. Now, I do think that the person who ever gave you the information probably didn't give you the correct information. There is nobody sitting here today looking at increasing classroom sizes in the District of Monrovia to 35 students. Yeah. That just patently is not true. But the proof will be in the pudding. So as you watch the process work, and you see that we're not here trying to get 35 kids in a classroom, even though the state of California says the maximum students that you can put in a classroom is 35, that is not our goal nor our intention. But please, you can follow this process along, and don't show up just on one Wednesday night. This happens twice a month, rain or shine. We get to come here unless it is during, I think, April and the holiday season. It's only one time in that month. But it's the second and fourth Wednesday. It's been like this for years. And there are lots of opportunities to have discussion from the podium or with individual members about the budget process that's going to be coming up. We would be passing a budget at the last meeting in June. We have to, by law, pass a balanced budget by the end of 1st of July, okay? Lots of conversations, lots of meetings before that. The part that you're talking about where you want to see the money spent is absolutely the right forum to be at those meetings to articulate, this is where I want to see that money go. There's other people that are coming and advocate where they want to see money come from to go to what project. You should be too. It all gets part and parcel. We have one pot of money that we have to run the whole district with. Mm-hmm. I do want to say one thing about coaches. I think we use the same words. Coaches, Mr. Williams is a football coach. The other guys, they were wrestling coaches. The coaches here are the folks that are working with teachers to make sure that the teachers are doing the best job they can with the students they have to close that achievement gap. It's critical that you don't think that we have $700,000 worth of coaches. These are teacher coaches working with our teachers. I just want to make sure people understand that. Okay. I just want to make sure that we understand that. There is not $700,000 worth of coaches. Okay. And the thought exchange. The thought exchange is new this year. I'm sorry that it did not perform to the satisfaction of some of the people in the room. It is starting to achieve the goal of what the board wanted. The very fact that you even knew there was a thought exchange is huge. Just as huge, and let me tell you why. Because LCAP has been going on for 3 years, and we've been getting information through SurveyMonkey, which is woefully inadequate to be getting information from. I'm not sure on the total number who responded to Thought Exchange, but it's in excess of 1,000 different people, which, if you look at it from our perspective, we're finally getting people from our community giving us feedback, and we appreciate it. So it can only get better in the future, because let me tell you, it was woefully inadequate in the past. So we're moving forward on it. I want to tell you how we ended up here today. I hope you take the comments that Mr. Williams to heart. There is nobody here that is trying to ruin you, your educational experience for your family, or our district. That is not our goal. And please, we are not your enemy. We are really just your neighbors.
Mr. Wong?
Okay. A lot of this was, and it's been covered, and I think most of you know this at heart. You've seen us around forever, in the neighborhoods, in the schools. We listen to absolutely everything that's being said. Sometimes we don't respond directly because the answers are extraordinarily complicated and interwoven. This information to me was fantastic in the sense that I'm understanding what specific parents are experiencing, what their viewpoints are, and what they're seeing. As a board member, seeing many things that aren't being clearly translated, there's something that I'm taking away from this in addition to the points that you're making. And that is that we as a board, we as a district, need to improve our communication skills. Because many of the items that were covered have been covered thoroughly, not in a meeting, not in 5 seconds, but over the course of a year or longer. Meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, we cover many of these topics. Now, typically it'll take an event, whatever it may be, misinformation, a story, current events, whatever it is, to spark something in a group to say, wait a minute, this can't go on, this isn't right. And oftentimes it's not based on fact. There's missing pieces of information. There's misinformation. And so when I see large groups of passionate people, which is what every person at this desk wants, everybody here wants engaged parents. What I want, what I'm hoping for, what I'm taking as an addition to what you've brought to us as far as specific items is a reminder we need to do a better job. We need to do a better job explaining what we're doing and why we're doing it. What are the options available at any given time? Why did we pick one choice over another? Because when you get right down to it, that's what's happening. Everything is about choices. This is just your basic economics. You have unending wants and needs and limited resources. Part of the LCAP process, part of all of these open meetings is to get as much feedback as we can to try to determine not only from what the board thinks is priorities, but what do parents think are priorities? What do teachers think are priorities? What do the administrators think of priorities? Take that information and come up with budgets. You're seeing the very, very end, or what you think is going to occur based on information that you've received. What you didn't get was why we got there. If you just took a step back, realizing every one of us are parents with our kids in this district, in some of the thoughts that you have on how outrageous they might seem to you, as parents, do you think we would have that same reaction? Probably. So what I'm taking from this is not only the points that you've brought up, but we need to do a better job. So that is something that we will definitely focus on to make sure information is related in a better manner, and that there's more opportunities for input, more opportunities for honest debate, as to, what we should be doing. Because at the end of the day, everybody in this room wants the same thing. We all want phenomenal educational experiences for our kids. We want phenomenal experiences, period, for our kids. So, with that, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, well said. Mr. Gitterland is going to conclude. There's some Monroe parents out there that challenged us on recent activities, and you saw the results. It's just a matter of receiving. It's that simple. I was that parent at home, frustrated, and I was that parent until my wife made me get involved, and it made a big difference in my household. I began to mirror the teacher's efforts in the classroom at home. So my point is, when those parents approached us at Monroe, you got results because we were told about it. So I concur with Mr. Gitterland that our communication is going to have to be better, obviously. But I will say this before you leave. We encourage you to come up here. Mr. Hammond is right on. There is no enemies when you're up there. You're just another parent sharing what you see because we can't see everything. So my point to you is it would behoove you to think that, oh, here we come again. And to the parents that are disappointed about the kids, I'm going to say this. It is important for a child to be recognized. It is important for a child to understand other people are recognize him or her. So it's important for us to set the tone. And I'm very proud of that. All 45 minutes of showing those kids and their parents what they're doing in the city. And so I'm not bending from that. I'm not going to apologize for that. And as parents, you should condone that as well. They need to know what's going on in the district. Some of the avenues that you're entertained are not always possible. This is the best forum we have right now. And like Mr. Wong said, we've received you constructively. Trust me, we have. I think it's totally awesome that you guys show up like this. Mr. Gitterland.
I just want to say thank you for being here tonight and letting us hear your thoughts. I want to clear up one misconception that I heard. Then that's that this item's on the agenda tonight. If it was on the agenda, we could discuss it in detail. Unfortunately, or fortunately, or whatever you think about the process, it's in process, but it's not ready for the board to take action on yet. And so, since it's not on our agenda tonight, we are very limited, and some of these guys honestly stretched it just a tad to give you more information. But we are prohibited by law from discussing items that aren't on the agenda. But we're never forbidden to take input from the community, and especially from the parents. So we appreciate you, and when hopefully your voice will continue to be heard until it cuts to the point that it's on the agenda, ready for final decision. So thanks.
Thank you, Olivia Nelson, for your awesome leadership with PTA, and I mean that sincerely. We're going to take a 5-minute recess just to regroup, and then we're going to come back. over here. Next, we're moving to item J, informational reports and presentations, special education program update. Miss Kitty Lou.
Thank you, Ms. Louie. What we'll hear today is just an update, some updated information about our special education programs and resources.
All right. Great. Good evening, President Williams, Board of Education, Cabinet members. I'm here tonight to give a special education overview regarding our programs and on my department this year. So first, I really wanted to share with you just an overview of our student populations, our students that we serve here in our district. And then we're going to dig a little deeper in terms of what our school sites look like. How, who are our kids, how many are on our campuses, and then talk about resources in terms of staffing, how much staff there is to provide for our students. From there, we're going to segue into making sure that in the eyes of California Department of Education, how we are looked upon. What are the criterias that they measure us with? So I'm going to share a little bit of that throughout my presentation tonight, and then at the end, I welcome your questions and comments. So the first slide is for us to have an overview of who are our students at this time. So for right now, we have over 800 students in our Monrovia Unified School District. With various eligibility criteria. Over 800 have IEPs or individual education programs. Over 300 are eligible under specific learning disability, and that is defined as having a psychological processing deficit, which is coupled with a discrepancy between their intellect and their academic achievement. So as you see in this, this chart here, that is our primary eligibility at this time. Eligibility does not warrant or guarantee level of goals or level of service or level of placement. It just states to the IEP team that you're eligible for special education services. As you look further, we have over 160 students with speech and language impairment, along with 181 students that have students with autism. So again, it gives you a little bit of overview in terms of, okay, we have 800 students, eligibility, looking in terms of who they are at our school sites would be my following slide. So our overview at our Brad Oak sites, we have 65 students, and as you can see, you can delineate the amount of students there are. So for example, at Brad Oaks, out of 65 students with a campus of 463, that's approximately 14% of students that have individual education programs, just to give you a little glimpse. If we jump over to Monrovia High School, we have 168 students with individual education programs. And out of a campus of over 1,600, that's about 10%. So it is a significant impact in our school districts, and how we'll be able to support them is critical. We have to be very precise. We need to be coherent in terms of our next steps. And it's been exciting to develop this over the past 3 years. I really enjoy looking at the data, looking at terms of thinking outside the box and seeing how we'll be able to support all our students in our district. One of the biggest parts of supporting our students is talking about personnel and supports that actually are on our school campuses. As you can see, I've listed on the far left column the actual locations of our school campuses, and on the preceding columns is how much school psychologists are allocated for that school site. As you can tell, many of our school psychologists are split between 2 sites. They carry a caseload about 60 to 65, and they do equally amount of evaluations as much, including initial evaluations along with triennial evaluations, which means that every 3 years, students with individual education programs must be evaluated to determine if they continue to be eligible. So with our school psychologists, they absolutely do intensive counseling supports. They help our student study teams make recommendations. They have a full plate, definitely. On the third column there, you have our speech and language pathologist and our speech therapist. As you can see, our Canyon Early Learning Center, our youngest subgroup here, our youngest students require a lot of support. We do have our students that come in from regional center. Any student that turns the age of 3, it is the district's responsibility to provide support if they're eligible. So we do have 2 speech and language pathologists at Canyon Early Learning Center. As you read through the column, you can see that it's a 2/3, 2/3, 2/3 because of the fact that they all share Monrovia High School. And that's how you have the Monrovia High School at the bottom, having that one speech therapist. We have close to speech therapy, close to about I would think about almost 70 students that receive speech and language services at the high school. So what the case carriers do is break them off by either the teacher or the program levels. Following that is the students that are in our programs at each school site. The first number is the average for a self-contained program, or more commonly known as SDC programs. That is our average. So for example, on average at Brad Oaks, of the programs on the site of self-contained, we have an average of 13 students. The following number that says 32, that's our average of our resource students. Our resource students are the ones that have minimal services, that our primary education is delivered by the general education teacher. So either the resource teacher goes into the classroom to do a push-in collaborative model, or they get pulled out for a minimal amount of services throughout their day. As you can see at Mayflower, we have 42 average, 34, 32 at Plymouth, 38 at Wild Rose. It's a large number. And I'm going to go into in terms of what the case carrier's responsibilities are, what the actual cap is, if there is one, and then also discuss what are our next steps to helping that process so that we can help all students. But before going into that, I wanted to talk about the actual individual education program. Like I shared before, we discussed a little bit about student study teams, student success teams, before we talk about an IEP, an actual eligibility for services. On the first column, it talks about eligibility, how a student is eligible, were there student study teams conducted and met to discuss some immediate interventions, something that you may not be eligible for and you have to wait in the terms of a special education timeline. We collect data over time that we can be able to meet with the family, meet with the school psychologist, meet with the team, the general education teacher, to be able to provide some extra supports as needed that can be delivered in the classroom. From there, if that doesn't appear to make the significant growth that we want to see, eligibility assessment comes into play, and the individual education program follows the continuum as you can see on the screen. The team discussed present levels, which includes the areas of strength, goals, and then supports for students to make educational benefit. Additionally, from there, we talk about services and placement, including educational benefit and a free and appropriate public education to offer our families and our student. From there is the IEP. We want to make sure that it's consistently implemented, reviewing it at a minimum of 1 time per year. We want to make sure we monitor the progress, monitor the goals that are listed on the IEP, and making sure that we are able to do everything that we can to make it a very fluid document, that as you are implementing the IEP, and if there are areas of growth, that we can start implementing less services, or the other way, if there needs to be more additional support, we want to offer that as well. So again, keeping the IEP in terms of fluidity is very important. So the role of the case carrier. As I shared before on the previous slide, we had the averages of resource case carriers having 32, 34 on average per school site. So what we've done is have a traveling resource teacher to help with the overload of students. So what we have is that specialized academic instructors shall not exceed 28 pupils on their caseload. So for example, at Brad Oaks, if they have an average of 32, the other 4 students, what we would strategically do is maybe have a first grade group during, after lunchtime, have our traveling resource teacher come, pull the 4 first graders, and then deliver services in that manner. Again, it's strategic. We have to really look at what's best for the student. We want to provide consistency for services, and it's been working out well. It's not a, it's working out well at this time. So with this in mind, we wanted to talk about what are the actual student programs that we deliver at Monrovia Unified School District. As you know, full inclusion, partial inclusion, or mainstreaming, our co-teaching classes are taught throughout our district. These are also called our resource, which are primarily educated in the general education classroom. We also have our mild moderate self-contained classes, which also lead to a high school diploma. We also have the moderate severe self-contained classrooms, along with a severely disabled regional class program through our SELPA. So we do have a range and a continuum of programs that we provide our families with. In terms of location and where our programs are, again, certificate of completion programs require the same level of care, require the same level of diligence in providing them an appropriate education. With that, as you can see, on each of the school sites, we do have an array of programs that support all our students. And as I shared before, whichever path a student requires, they all deserve an appropriate education, and all leads to a high school promotion ceremony. So that is never taken away either with any program. If you're in a moderate severe, you're in a SELPA, SD program, they all get to experience a high school promotion. So from this overview of our students, our staff, and our programs, I want to start transitioning on how the state views our programs. So the California Department of Education created annual performance reports. And what they are is that it's a series of reports that disseminate educational data so that we can improve the quality of education for all our students. So of this annual performance report, or short APRs, they select 14 different criterias, and they match our data to see have we been making growth in these 4 indicators. So what I wanted to share with you was that a 3-year chronological in terms of the 14 annual performance report indicators. In 14-15, Monrovia Unified School District met 7 and then did not meet 6. So I've listed out the categories, the indicators on this screen. The only one indicator that was not included in 14-15 was because of the statewide assessment, and that was because it was the first launch of having the SBAC during that year. But again, these are the 14 indicators that the California Department of Education measures every school district with to make sure that we're making progress on our students, with our students. In 2015 and 16, as you can see, we met 8 indicators and did not meet 6 of them. And if you look at the way it's laid out, we didn't meet statewide assessment, which is critical because we want to continue to offer an appropriate program. Least restrictive environment, we want to keep having our students be in the least restrictive environment in the general education as much as possible. So as you can see, in 15-16, we met 8 of the indicators, but we did not meet 6. Our preliminary 16-17 annual performance reports were provided. This year for 16-17, we met 10, including those which is statewide assessments in English language arts and mathematics, and also least restrictive environment. We did not meet the 4 that are listed on the right-hand side, which includes the preschool, graduation, disproportionality. So again, there is growth in terms of us meeting the indicators. However, there's still much to do. There's definitely an urgent tempo that needs to occur with precise level of detail to make sure that we help strategically support all our students. As I shared before, the good news is that, yes, we have made statewide academic achievement gains, and yes, that we have met the indicator. We've made 8.7 points in English language arts and 13 points in math. However, district-wide, we're 75 points below level 3, and also 98 points below level 3 in mathematics. So there's a huge gap that we need to continue to focus on and to continue to develop supports in. How do we do that? I divided it into 3 separate ways. Bold next steps would include content, supports, and of course, partnering with our parents and having parent engagements. Content, inclusive practices, providing appropriate training for our staff, and including general education and special education on how to support students in their environment. As I shared in the first slide, majority of our students have speech and language impairments or have resource services. That means their primary learning vehicle is through the general education teacher. So to provide that inclusive practice and training is essential to help all our staff, along with providing appropriate level of service for our students. Content, in terms of core curriculum, are we able to continue to implement the core curriculum in our self-contained classrooms? They have a right, definitely, to be exposed to the core curriculum, and our teachers are carefully and masterfully accommodating and working with the core to how to bridge that gap between their learning needs versus the rigorous curriculum that is exposed to our students. There's a lot of differentiation. There's a lot of extracting the main concept of what the standard needs to be taught and breaking that down to be able to have that experience for our students. The next content area is also to bridge. We need to bridge our curriculum so that we can train our teachers on how to meet the needs of all students. Either it's universal design for learning, a different way of engaging our student, a different way of format of producing the end product. It could be through accommodations and training, or it could be tiered interventions. So these content areas need to be continued and stretched further for the following year. Another bold next step would be supports. Absolutely, we need to continue with curriculum supports, continue to provide training opportunities for all special education teachers. This includes not only in terms of academics, but in terms of social emotional and behavioral supports. We would need to have the teacher on special assignment to support the general education special ed teachers with the implementation and differentiation of the state standards like I shared before, and also the compliance and implementation of IEPs. This person will support the teachers on continuing on proper implementation, how to develop goals that are rigorous yet attainable by our students, and effectively implement the IEP. The last bold next step would be parent engagement. These past 2 years, we've had parent meetings in the evening. We've had parent meetings in the daytime on specialized topics throughout the school year, which includes introduction to your first IEP meeting or your triennial meeting, introduction to a transition meeting, what would it look like? We've had our school psychologist come in the evening to do a forum in terms of what to expect or what to look for in terms of a psychoeducational evaluation. It's a big word, so we don't want the parents to come in as if it's the first time they've ever heard it. There's also community advisory committee meetings that's hosted by the SELPA here in Alhambra. With the parent partnership and parent input, we wanted to have the next bold steps of holding monthly or every other month meetings. This came from our parents. This came from our community. Hey, can we have a set date where we just meet and we can just talk to the director? If we have concerns, can we just have a set date? So that is taken into consideration, and that's why it's a bulleted item. Another thing was from a parent, as well. Can you include these district meetings on a phone blast like we do from Patrick Garcia? Because we get those. Can we get them through a phone blast? Because I would like to come. So again, taking that parent perspective is very important to me, and I would love to include that. And again, our parents are asking for more collaboration. More collaboration amongst the school site staff, more collaboration with the district office and the parents. The feedback I received was basically, we just want to know where to go. Like, who do I talk to? And we embrace that. I embrace that, because that's the focus at all times, to really embrace that unity and fellowship with our parents and community. So this concludes my presentation for tonight. May I elaborate or clarify any of the information I presented?
On your bold next steps support, it calls for teacher on special assignment 1, teacher on special assignment 2. Is this 2 additional positions we're asking for? Is it change of duties? I'm not sure what you're asking for in teacher on special assignments there.
No problem. So currently, 3 years ago, well, not currently. Currently, there's 1 teacher on special assignment that's in place.
So even though that says bold next steps, the
Right.
number 1's already in place. Okay.
Well, it's actually number 2. Well, 2 and 1 is kind of merged into 1. In two years ago, we did have a position that was left unfilled. So during this time, it was left unfilled. So now we're planning on filling that position.
So that's
the bold
filling
step.
the already existing position, so you'll have 2.
Correct.
Okay.
And the primary focus of that is really to bridge that curriculum and the core content, really helping our general education and our special education staff, having that academic bridge. It really is to support our teachers in that manner. And that goes back to that first slide about most of our students are in general ed, and we want to support them in that environment.
Any other comments?
That was very thorough.
Very.
Appreciate it.
Well done, Ms. Louie.
Thank you very much.
Were we going to get some budget information tonight or on Friday night's update?
So I apologize. The budget implications. I wasn't quite clear in terms of which part of the budget implications would you be looking for.
Last year, you provided us a wonderful summary of costs that we carried to Washington, D.C. and spent a lot of time with a lot of congressional reps saying, look at these numbers. We need for you to support the Special Education Act the way you said it you would, because we're going to run out of money if you don't start supporting it. I would just like to see that extended 1 more year so that we know this year how it relates to that data we were giving to our legislatures last year.
Absolutely, and I will be proud to present that. I have that actually on. Yes, I would. Just let me know, let Dr. Thorosian know how I will be able to share that information. I would be very happy to.
How about if we just include it in tomorrow's update?
Oh, fantastic.
Right.
I would like to ask that we could include it in tomorrow's update, but I would like to hear it at a public meeting. I want that information heard by everyone as much as possible, okay?
Absolutely.
So President Williams,
I concur.
it doesn't have to be a long report, just another item. Maybe it can be under the superintendent's report at the next meeting. Say,
I concur.
Here's that budget information.
No, I agree. I don't think people have any concept of how underfunded it is. And based on some of the conversations we had tonight, I think it will help people understand some of the struggles that that school districts face that are just unreasonable.
And the fact that we do have a lobbyist, and I can't recall, Dr. Thorosian, when the lobbyist entertained for us to come back to Washington, but I understand it's going to be soon. So Mr. Gilliland is right on regarding the numbers. Unfortunately, I can't articulate that date. I can't even recall, Dr. Thorosian. But we need to revisit that date and respond to those lobbies as well. Ms. Louis, excellent report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comment for Ms. Louis? Thank you. We're moving to item K, the consent agenda, which includes 14 items.
So moved.
Thank you. Ms. Huff?
Board Member Rich?
Yes.
Board Member Hammond?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board President Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Item L, action items, educational services. Dr. Kaiser, with regards to the software service agreement between Kickup and Monrovia Unified School District.
Yes, Board President Williams and Board, we bring before you tonight a request to approve a software services agreement between Kickup and the Monrovia Unified School District to measure the impact of professional learning from March 29th through June 30th, 2018 as a trial on this software. In keeping with the district's goal of promoting professional learning, this software services agreement with Kickup will bring submitted for approval. This agreement will enable professional development to be measured in order to assess the impact with the goal of improving classroom outcomes of educators and students. Outcomes will be measured through customized data collection instruments, virtual data review, and access to Kickup's analytical platform and a one-on-one support. This is being offered at a prorated cost for the remainder of the fiscal year of $5,412 to be paid from supplemental and concentration funds.
Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. Any comments?
Just a question. Sorry, just one question. Do we know what parameters that will use to measure the effectiveness?
They are surveys that are given to teachers at the conclusion of any professional development that they have, and then those results come in and they're logged, and then there is a data analytics that gives us the themes and the threads to inform us regarding future offerings that we would have to really assess the pulse and the need of what the teachers are experiencing in their classrooms.
So it's to assess how well the teachers like their training.
Well, liked it, and then also there's a platform by which we can enter data that is data on the students in a particular area to see what are some of the areas of need that our teachers have. So they'll also be looking at some of our achievement data.
So it's looking at what the need is, not
Yes.
the actual achievement.
The need.
The need for.
Right.
Okay.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Hammond?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Rich?
Yes.
Board President Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item 2, Los Angeles County Office of Education contract for teaching English learners through the Arts Project. Dr. Kaiser?
Yes, Board President Williams and Board, we're very excited to bring this before you tonight as a recommendation to ratify the contract with the Los Angeles County Office of Education for teaching English learners through the arts TILA project from January 9th through June 30th, 2018. With this being Arts Month, this is really exciting. The Teaching of English Learners Through the Arts project is a 5-year grant from the U.S. Department of Education's Office of English Language Acquisition to Los Angeles County Office of Education. Monrovia Unified School District has been selected to pilot the use of online materials and provide feedback on the resources that will be part of a research study to determine the impact of instruction that integrates visual and performing arts with other content areas and supports the academic success of English language learners. A stipend of $5,000 will be provided to Monrovia upon completion of the requirements. There is no cost to participate in this pilot, and the district will receive a stipend of $5,000. This TILA project is a continuation of the TEAL project that we have been involved in for several years now.
Questions or comments for Dr. Kaiser? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Gilliland,
Yes.
Board Member Wong,
Yes.
Board Member Rich,
Yes.
Board Member Hammond,
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item 3, on-demand electronic core and supplemental subscription agreement with Hazelton Publishing. Dr. Kaiser.
Yes, this, we bring before you tonight an agreement with the Oveus Bullying Prevention Program that was approved on March 14th, 2018. This program is a whole school program to prevent or reduce bullying through a school setting that is designed for students in grades K-12. The subscription agreement allows access to the Oveus On-Demand Core program for each elementary and middle school. In terms of budget implications, there is no cost to the district for this subscription. The subscription cost will be paid by the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health. This is an instrument that is being used to help train teachers in delivering anti-bullying instruction in their classrooms, and this is an instrument that goes along with it that is being paid for by a grant with the Hazelton Publishing and the Betty Ford Foundation.
Questions or comments for Dr. Kaiser?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Wong,
Yes.
Board Member Rich,
Yes.
Board Member Hammond,
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland,
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Board business regarding consider expulsion case number 1718-11, student ID 2222-00465. Mr. Hammond?
I move expulsion case number 1718-11 for the 2017-18 school year. That expulsion case number 1718-11, student number 222-200-465, be held to an enforcement of an order of expulsion for a period of not more than 1 calendar year. This period commences on the 28th day of March and ends on the 28th day of March 2019. The expulsion is based on the finding of fact that the student violated the following provisions of the Education Code 48900.4, intentionally harassed, threatened, or intimidated, creating a hostile education environment.
Motion?
That was a motion.
Second.
Board Member Rich,
Thank you.
Yes.
Board Member Hammond,
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland,
I abstain.
Board Member Wong,
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Board Policy 9100, Organization, Dr. Terosian.
Thank you, President Williams, members of the board. The board policy, this is a first reading for the revision of our board policy regarding the organization of this body. And the changes that have been made adhere to the recommendations by the California School Boards Association as listed through Gamut.
I've got a couple of questions on this, and I didn't sit down with you beforehand, so we didn't get a chance to discuss this, but this says the meeting basically shall be within 15 days from the date which the board member elected at that election takes office, which we further define on further as being December 1st. So why don't we just say at the first regularly scheduled board meeting in December? Instead of all this, I mean, could we look at that and make sure we meet the legal requirements? But as far as I can tell, and all my experience on the board, as long as we have that organizational meeting on the first board meeting in December, we meet all the requirements. Instead of having all this complicated language in there.
We can do that.
But
We could make a
because if
change,
we
yeah.
follow this, the meeting before that, we have to put in the agenda that we're gonna make a date for the board meeting. But we don't have to do that if it's already in the policy that that's when it's gonna be.
I have no issue with making any of those changes because that would still comply with the letter of this requirement, yeah.
Okay, the second thing is it says, in that meeting, the annual organization meeting, we'll approve a schedule of regular meetings for the year. That's not ever when we have ever done it before. Is that when we should do it, or, because we're
I noticed that as
getting
well,
ready to
Mr.
approve.
Gilliland.
Yeah, we're gonna take action on something that looks just like that tonight.
Pretty much like that, yeah. So maybe we should just knock number 4 out of there.
Done.
Then the other thing that this says, which I'm still scratching my head over, review and or consider resources that define and clarify the board's governance and leadership roles. Does this mean that at that organizational meeting is the time that we look at board rules, bylaws, other board development material? That's not something we've ever done. I'm just wondering why.
Because we do that throughout the year.
We do that as we need to, yeah. I don't always, we don't always need the same thing CSBA puts in their draft things. And if I'm reading this correctly, I think that's another one that we could take out.
This is one, as Mr. Rich noted, is something that is done regularly by the board. And what I'd like to do is take a look at this. And this is it seems to me, a responsibility of the board, and perhaps we include it in one of the other board policies that talks about the responsibilities of the board. And it would be better included there, because I would hate for that to be lost.
Well, we don't want to lose it. We have to review it at some point, but
yeah,
I think that annual meeting organization meeting may not be the right place for us.
Okay.
All right. So can those changes be made and bring it back on consent?
You can just do it
We
with
can
a
change it
motion.
right now.
Beat me to the punch there, Mr. Gilliland.
We didn't make a motion,
Yeah,
did we?
just go ahead and do it with those changes.
So I'll make the motion that we do it with those changes.
I'll second that.
Beat around the bush there.
Ms. Huff.
Board Member Hammond.
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Item L7, Board Policy 9110, Terms of Office. Dr. Terosian.
I'm just going to turn it over to Mr. Gilliland.
Hey, it says you serve for 4 years.
So they cover.
So I think that's right. I like this policy. I'm good with it.
The major change in this policy is really that we are moving from odd numbered years to even numbered years to comply with our current status.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Ms. Huff.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Board Member Hammond.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item L8, Board Policy 9121, President. Dr. Terosian.
This policy as well reflects the recommendations through CSBA and identifies and delineates the responsibilities of the president.
I would propose that we just knock out number 11 because the leading statement is to ensure that board meetings are conducted in an efficient, transparent, orderly manner, da-da-da-da-da, and then it gets down and says, be responsible for orderly conduct, so. Strike number 11. I thought I had another point on this too, but I don't see it now.
Entertain the amendment.
I was looking for Ed's second note.
That's okay. If I find it, I'll bring it up.
With the amendment, I move adoption.
Second.
Ms. Huff.
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Board Member Hammond.
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item L9, Assembly Bill 3096, Streamline School District Reporting Requirements. Dr. Terosian.
Thank you, President Williams, members of the board. I'd like for Dr. Kaiser to take us through this annual requirement, hoping that some of the paperwork we are required to complete is done so in a more streamlined manner.
Thank you very much. The Board of Education is requested to consider supporting Assemblywoman Blanca Rubio's Bill AB 3096 to streamline duplicative reporting requirements and improve the alignment and access to data available on the California School Dashboard. Right now, we have several reporting instruments. CalPads pulls information that populates the SARC. We have LCAP requirements that contain information. We have an LEA plan. We have a SIPSA. Lots of alphabet soup here, and our LCAP. In an effort to align and streamline whenever possible, the reporting requirement is crucial to school district operations and the maximization of resources for instructional leadership and to direct services to students. What this bill does is it will streamline reporting requirements with the goal of improving alignment between all the existing requirements and data available on the new California School Dashboard. The California Department of Education will be authorized to use the CalPads data it receives from the school districts annually to pre-populate the accountability report card data elements. Instead of requiring school districts to annually complete the accountability report card as a separate report, this bill will enable the California Department of Education to make this information available to local stakeholders on each school's school profile. So less paperwork, same information.
Has someone read this bill?
Yes.
I haven't had a chance to read the whole bill. And this is all that's in it.
This is all that's in it.
I ask that because half the time they say, oh, this is what it's all about, but it's the other stuff in there that kills you, so.
No, this is all that's in it.
Okay.
Has the School Board Association taken a position on this?
Not that I know. The California Association of California School Administrators have, and the California Department of Education.
Additional questions or comment for Dr. Kaiser? Motion?
So moved. I think it's a good idea.
I'd second it.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Rich.
No.
Board Member Hammond.
School boards haven't taken a position on it yet.
Not that I know.
Yeah, I gotta say no.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-2.
Thank you. Item L13, proposed board meeting schedule. Dr. Terosian?
Before you is a schedule which is consistent with the schedule that we have maintained in this district with the second and fourth Wednesday of every month, except for, as Mr. Hammond noted earlier, in some of the holiday months. These are July, November, and December. Also listed in the agenda with the schedule is the annual organizational meeting in December, and then the joint meeting with the Personnel Commission.
Questions, comment? Mr. Gilliland?
I do have a comment, and, you know, I think that we have the same schedule, and we've had the same schedule for a reason, to make it easy for people to remember when the meetings are. But I don't know that we've done a great job in reinforcing at the parent level or school level when these meetings are. So I'll make the motion, but I'm asking that we do a better job in making these dates public on our websites and in our informational packets that new parents get at the beginning, or wherever else it is appropriate, to show when meetings are.
I concur. It was received earlier from one of the parents that we should utilize our social media efforts, and I completely concur.
And social media is, and I'm sorry, I haven't wanted to just butt in. Social media is a good idea, but not everybody follows it. I think if we're going to take action on this like we can, I think we would direct to have the phone blast and email. We do it the first of the month. As a reminder, there's a school board meeting. And that way we know that we're hitting the population of people that are most likely interested in when we're meeting, because it's the parents. So we hit them with a phone blast after 5 o'clock, so people don't think that it's an emergency at school. As a reminder, they hit them at the first of each month with a email and a phone blast, and just do that for a while until people get used to knowing when the meetings are, I think.
But we definitely need to make it on our webpage. I mean,
100%.
these are the things these are like business hours. They're not going to change, which was the reason why we went to a set schedule, so we wouldn't have to continuously put out new calendars every single year, which did get people confused. So anytime we have set material, set business hours, or whatever it is, there's no reason we can't put 2 lines on there. School board meetings, 2nd and 4th Wednesday of every month at the district office, 7 o'clock. Or whatever the time is, somewhere to click where they can find out more information, study sessions, agendas, etc. But we just need to do a little bit better job again in communicating, I think.
Well, whatever we put it on now, we need to put the link to that upcoming agenda.
Sure.
Well, the schedule's on the district website.
Schedule.
It's been there since we've had it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna,
It's
just
there.
just for folks that maybe they don't even, they don't know how to access it. I'm just saying.
I love the phone blast idea.
we just
I
blast
really
them.
like the phone blast idea.
And-
But remember, it's already on the website.
Just
All you
saying,
do is
we're-
click on monroviaschools.net, click on Board of Education, click on Agenda, click on Meeting Schedule. It's there. It's already there. It doesn't hurt to have it on a school site website, on each school website, but the phone blast idea is a great way to do it first of each month. But we already put it up on the websites. It's there. That's nothing new. People just don't go and look at it.
Additional questions or comments? Entertain a motion?
With all that good information, yes. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Hammond,
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland,
Yes.
Board Member Wong,
Yes.
Board Member Rich,
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Item L14, resolution for number 171810, in remembrance of those lost to genocide and man's humanity to man. Dr. Terosian, please.
Thank you, President Williams, members of the board. Ishika earlier today, our senior from Monrovia High School, did a nice job in describing a smaller world and how everybody impacts everybody else. And this is just a reminder that as people around the globe seek self-determination, that the Monrovia Unified School District affirms its commitment to the teaching of tolerance. This is part of the California History Social Science Standards, but it's also just the right thing to do as part of a global world. And whether it's the Armenian genocide or what is happening today in Syria, there's plenty of reminders of how we really need to recognize that these are actions that need to stop, and to teach our children to dream about a better world, just as Ishika did.
So moved.
I would ask you to amend that that motion to call it by the name that it's written under, and that's the resolution number 1718-10, in remembrance of those lost to genocide and man's inhumanity to man. instead of in remembrance of the Armenian. This is in remembrance of all the genocides that have taken place over the years. In some way, it got written right on the resolution, but it got written differently on the agenda.
I accept that amendment.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Board Member Hammond.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Item L15, pending board issues. Dr. Terosian?
I have nothing to add to the pending board issues.
Okay. Item
Could
L,
we-
excuse
Before
me.
you move off to old business, could I readdress the item that's the board, or the board policy on president of the board? That's bylaw 9121.
You found it.
I found it, I found it. I don't want our minutes to be jeopardized because number 10 says, one of the things the president has to do is put motions to a vote and clearly state the results of the vote. I've never in my life seen the president clearly state that. We should say, and ensure the results of the vote are clearly stated.
Well received.
Okay, so there was a motion, who made that motion? I did, because I was waiting for Ed. So
Yeah, right.
I will rescind my motion,
Amendment.
and somebody has to rescind their second.
Yep.
Okay, now the item's back up, and with Ed's adjustments,
Find who the second
so
is
moved.
first.
And seconded.
Thank you for that
Ms. Huff, who
adjustment.
made that second?
I did.
Okay.
I think it was Ed.
I was-
I didn't write it down. Who made the second?
I thought it was Ed, because he said he have a question, I second, and I have a question. I thought that's what he said.
Yeah, well,
Are we revisiting the vote?
Well, you have
Yeah,
to find
we
out who
don't-
the second was, because the second has to.
Rob revised
I
his
just-
motion,
I
I
just-
revised my second, so we're clear.
Sure.
Yes.
Board Member Hammond.
Okay.
Board
Yes.
Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Item LM, old business, as it states before you, the next board meeting is the 23rd, forgive me, Monday, April 23rd at 5 p.m. We have the Joint Board of Education with the City of Monrovia. Of course, for those who are not familiar, we meet with them twice a year. We truly believe there is an excellent synergy with the city officials as well as the board members. On Wednesday, April 25th, the regular Board of Education meeting, we'll be having one meeting that month. On Wednesday, May the 9th, 7 p.m., regular Board of Education. On Thursday the 17th, the joint PC Board of Education meeting. On Wednesday the 23rd, the regular Board of Education meeting.
President Williams,
Please.
the May 17th meeting, is that correct? It's at 4 o'clock on Thursday?
Yeah, the joint.
I won't be here. If it's 6 o'clock, I can be here, but I can't make it 4 o'clock, so.
So
When did
noted.
we set that time?
Well, we always set it at 4 for the teacher there.
Because they have their meeting afterwards?
The Personnel Commission.
No, they have theirs
No.
first, and they have that award,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Then
Right.
cake.
It's the award thing, yeah.
I won't be here.
So noted.
One more question, is the city meeting this year, this time? Are we here or there? Okay, we're here.
Yeah, they're coming to our palace. New business, the MEO Games at Monroe High School. I would solicit your attendance. It's exciting at 8:30 in the morning. The Cesar Chavez, all day, the sites are closed on the 30th. The spring break, of course, is April 2nd to the 6th. And of course, our chamber mixer, we will be entertaining the businesses in the community to include the Monrovia School Foundation in their leadership capacity. I have the audacity to think that our businesses can do more to subsidize our resources and our school needs. Superstar of Music Showcase, that was mentioned earlier, is May the 10th. We have an open house on the 29th, CELC. Brad Elks is on the 8th. And of course, Santa Fe is on the 24th. Before we adjourn our meeting, we would like to close tonight's meeting in honor of our own board member, Chris Rich's wife, Caprice, who recently lost her uncle, Larry Morrison. And with that, we'd like to adjourn at 10 o'clock on the dot.